Hi, my name is Sophia Seeley, and I am a realtor in Pennsylvania. And today I wanted to start to talk about the documents that are going to be needed for your loan. So let's get organized. The things that we're going to want to start to have or put together, whether it be a digital file or a physical file, because maybe you're going to go talk to them in person or you're going to do it all virtual. I know with the pandemic, a lot of things have just switched to virtual. So it's just something to start to think about and put together. So the things that we want to start to gather, if you don't have it gathered already, are proof of employment and proof of income. We're going to want to have our social security number and our tax documents. So our tax documents, that goes back to proof of employment and proof of income. So if you are a W-2 worker, we want to start to have our W-2s for the past 2 years and our tax returns. And we also, it's not on here, but we also want to have our pay stubs for at least the last 30 days. We want to have proof of residency, which might come in the form of ID, but we also want to have at least the last 2 years of places where you have lived. You're going to want to gather your bank statements, which is really easy. You can just go on your bank and save them as a file, print them out if you need to, but that should be easily accessible. We also want to have our credit information or have knowledge of what it is, because that's going to make a difference of what you can basically qualify for. There's no need to go pay for anything or print anything out, because when you apply for your loan, they're going to pull your credit information. But if you want to have like an idea, you can always look at your bank accounts, because a lot of times if you sign into the bank account either through your phone or on the computer, there's going to be a place that shows what your current FICO score is, your credit score. And so there's no need to really do anything extra or make any other accounts if you don't need to. The next thing on the list is gift letters. And this is going to be if you are receiving a substantial amount of money from a family member, and there are guidelines of who this can be. And I know that things recently changed, but I don't have that with me right now. So that might be another video. So the gift letter is basically going to say that this money is indeed a gift and not a loan. So if you have a parent giving you $5,000 or $10,000 or sometimes more to go towards your down payment and closing costs, they just then have to write a letter and sign it saying that they're gifting you this money and it's not a loan. And that's it. I would imagine that some places may require for it to be notarized, but the ones that I've dealt with, there was no requirement of notary. But always speak with your lender to find out like what they require for the gift letter. You want to also start to gather your monthly expenses. What a lot of people may not realize is that you can have the down payment and you can have a really good credit score, but if you have a really high debt to income ratio, it's going to make it sometimes impossible to get approved for that loan, because they're going by what you have left after your expenses as far as what they feel like you can afford. So that's something to start to think about, and seeing where you are will definitely, and maybe speaking with someone about how you can, if it is high, like what are some things that you can do to potentially decrease it. If you're self-employed, your documents will look very different than someone who's not self-employed. If you're using an accountant, you should be able to call them up and say what documents you need, and they should be able to give that to you. But if you are not using an accountant, I would definitely suggest making sure that you're using some type of software. I know for myself, I use software and I can just click a button and it'll run my profit and loss, which I can use to say, this is how much money I'm making and these are what my expenses are. So then, like for some people, they make 80,000, but then their expenses are 70,000 or 75,000, and so on paper it looks like they're only making $5,000 or $10,000 for the year. And just think about what type of payment you would really be able to afford with that, what's on paper, and which is a whole other video, but I'll just leave it at that. We want to start to think about putting all these documents together and making sure that we have things in place so that once it's time to apply, we can streamline that process. So that's all that I have for today. If you found this helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next video.